belief and in terms of having no doubt. I mean, I think I am first a Christian and then second is anything else. So I always want to stay in the lane where I am glad we came to a hall, because I would reserve the pulpit for the people who should be in the pulpit. And I'm glad we are here in the hall, because it's always good to have that strata and to give the respect and decorum to the altar and to the church, and that's what I would always want to be. I am also one of the people who, yes, I'm a politician, a leader, but I believe, even before I go to my main speech, I'm here before you because of the profile. In terms of, when you look for a speaker, you have to look at who is that person, why are we calling him? Many times we have to refer to that, because that's what sells you as a person. But I believe in one thing. Me as Ndindi Nyoro, I am absolutely nothing if you remove what God has put in me. And I also believe, therefore, that all of us in this hall can be anything, any single thing, and especially when we give ourselves up to be vessels to the Almighty and the All-Powerful. And I was telling Kefa and our friends in the holding room, my grandfather, actually the brother to my grandfather, was a canon in ACK Church. And when I was campaigning to be member of parliament for the place I represent called Keharu, anytime I could be given the mic, I would say, of course, I was introducing myself for the first time to the people. So when you're introducing yourselves, you are also canvassing for credibility, because people don't know you. So I'd be given the mic, I say my name, but one thing I could not leave behind is to say that, and my grandfather was a canon, so that people can at least attach that if this guy's grandfather was a canon, then he can't steal our money. And he has to do what is right. So I've grown in church, and also for the privilege, which is immense, to speak to the people who have been called by God to shape us. And as I talk to you, I am talking to you with a lot of gratitude, but also humility, because I know there are many things you do which I cannot. And I am glad to share some of the experiences we'll be sharing today. We are here in this hall as 21 African countries. And our nationalities were registered here. 21 African countries are represented here. I don't know whether you are absorbing that. You know, I'm used to talk to Kenyans. Now here we have people from Eritrea, from Ethiopia, from Zambia, from South Africa, from Gaborone, from Botswana, and all the other African countries. I wish we had even more time to share, interact, because I feel like I have identified my brothers and sisters again. And I can tell by the warmth in this room that clearly we should have many more of such. Yeah. If only to come together, share experiences, interact, and go back home. Even without a keynote speaker. And without a lot of formalities, because this is part of the basics why we are human beings. Forget about member of parliament and this leader and the rest. What makes us different from all the other living things is because we are social. We interact. So even if we just meet and do that alone, That is profound. So, I'm a member of parliament for the second time, my second term, and I'm saying this for the benefit of our brothers and sisters from the many other African countries. I trained as an economist in the university, my first degree, a university called Kenyatta University, a Bachelor's of Arts in Economics, and then later on, Masters of Arts in Economics in the University of Nairobi, here in Kenya, and also another Masters in Economics, Public Policy, or Policy and Management from, again, Kenyatta University. I am also happy that towards the beginning of this year, I got a certificate again on economics from the London School of Economics. And this week I'll be traveling to Harvard University, where I'll be taking an executive certificate in economic development. And I did those things deliberately, especially from the master's part, because out of my interactions with many government officials, in my capacity as work as MP, and previously I used to be the chairman of the budget committee in parliament, I realized that the decisions we make as leaders are so far-reaching to be done in a mediocre manner. That a decision I make like this, me as a leader, is not just a show of how much I know. It is so far-reaching to the livelihoods of the people. You can imagine that leadership that we offer as African leaders even dictates the life expectancy of the people we lead. And therefore, I thought it is important for all of us as leaders to be a bit more serious. And to be more serious is to be more refined. Even in the places we lead, when you have more information, you are likely to make better judgment. And you are likely to make a more optimal decision. And you are more likely to make an efficient decision. And what education does many times, even if it doesn't sharpen you, at least it removes the cobwebs from your eyes. It removes the dogma, and it removes the many things that crowd your judgment and your decision making. So in Kiharu constituency, it's a fairly large constituency here in Kenya. I know in all the African countries represented here, we go to school in public schools. We have those public schools. And in Kenya, just like in many African countries that are here, public schools are not necessarily the best places you visit. Because you get dilapidated buildings. Of course, you get run-down infrastructure. So from my first time, what I did, and what we did together with the people of Kiharu, we started uplifting the infrastructure in our learning institutions. We have around 112 in the primary level, 112 public primary schools, and all of them, it's a rural constituency. We've been able to construct new ones where they were needed. We've been able to refurbish the old ones. Irene is actually my neighbor at home. She can attest that all our public primary schools, learners actually step on tiles. They step on tiles like these ones. All of them, all public primary schools in the place I represent. And because in Kenya we have something called National Government Constituency Development Fund. And it's the work of the member of parliament to oversight that fund. So what we've done is to transform the way that fund is done. We do something called labor-based, where there's no one who makes profit. When we give a school money, that money is spent from the first shilling to the last one in that institution, other than introducing a contractor who will then get the profit out of